Coffee's story begins in the ancient highlands of Ethiopia, where legend has it that a goat herder named Kaldi first discovered the energizing properties of the coffee berry. The tale goes that Kaldi noticed his goats frolicking with unusual enthusiasm after feasting on the bright red berries from a certain tree. Over time, these curious berries found their way into the hands of local monks, who began experimenting with them as a means to maintain alertness during long hours of prayer. This early encounter with coffee is shrouded in mystery, mixing myth and history, and it quickly became a beverage cherished for its ability to stimulate the mind and body. Hello, dear viewers! We're delighted to welcome you on this historical journey as we explore how coffee, an unknown stimulant in the distant lands of Ethiopia and Arabia, captured the fascination of European society. Through centuries of trial and travel, coffee spread from the Ethiopian plateau to the Arabian Peninsula, transforming into a symbol of hospitality and intellectual exchange. By the 15th century, coffee houses had begun to flourish in the bustling cities of Yemen, particularly in the port city of Mocha, which later lent its name to the now famous coffee blend. These establishments were more than places to drink coffee. They were vibrant centers of social interaction where scholars, artists, and merchants convened to discuss ideas and exchange news. The significance of these early coffee houses extended far beyond mere refreshment. They played a pivotal role in shaping cultural and political discourses in the regions that first embraced this exotic beverage. As the aroma of roasted coffee beans began to waft across the deserts of the Middle East, the knowledge of this mysterious drink eventually reached the shores of Europe. In this era of exploration and expanding trade routes, European travelers and merchants were enchanted by the prospect of this novel, invigorating beverage. It was during the 16th and 17th centuries that coffee started to make its way into European society, carried along trade routes that connected the Ottoman Empire with the vibrant markets of Venice, Amsterdam, and beyond. As coffee began to infiltrate the European consciousness, it encountered both intrigue and resistance. Some critics decried the drink as an exotic curiosity that had the potential to upend traditional social structures, while others quickly recognized its stimulating effects and its promise for social gatherings and intellectual debate. In bustling European metropolises, coffee houses emerged as epicenters for the burgeoning Age of Enlightenment. These establishments were not mere cafes, they acted as forums where ideas flowed as freely as the coffee itself. Intellectuals, such as philosophers, writers, and scientists, gathered in these venues to engage in rigorous discourse, debate revolutionary ideas, and collaborate on artistic endeavors. As coffee gained popularity, it played a significant role in the development of modern European culture, influencing everything from literature and politics to everyday social interactions. Subscribe to the channel if you like coffee, and let's move on. Once coffee firmly planted its roots in European soil, its impact was both immediate and transformative. Coffee houses became known as penny universities because for the price of a cup of coffee, a person could enter a world of intellectual conversation and diverse perspectives. These venues democratized access to knowledge in a way that was unprecedented at the time. While aristocrats had long held the reins of education and influence, the coffeehouse culture allowed merchants, artisans, and even common folk to voice their opinions in an open and vibrant environment. As coffee evolved from a novelty to a critical commodity, European states began to recognize its economic importance. Colonial powers, eager to capitalize on the beverage's growing popularity, invested in vast coffee plantations in their overseas territories. The cultivation of coffee beans was both a scientific endeavor and a financial venture, leading to the development of sophisticated agricultural practices that combined local traditions with emerging European techniques. However, the story of coffee in Europe is not merely one of economic gain. It also intersects with themes of colonization and exploitation, as European interests often led to the reshaping of entire societies in pursuit of lucrative trade. This complex relationship has left a lasting legacy on both the old and new worlds. Within the cultural fabric of Europe, coffee spurred revolutions in social interaction, commerce, and even politics. The very nature of the coffee house, as a place of open discussion and critical debate, provided fertile ground for the dissemination of new ideas during the Enlightenment. Some historians argue that these coffee houses were the breeding grounds for significant political and social transformations, where emerging democratic principles were first articulated. The accessibility of coffee and the communal nature of its consumption broke down barriers between social classes, allowing for a more fluid exchange of ideas that challenged the status quo. The popularity of coffee also led to innovations in related industries. Advanced methods for roasting, brewing, and serving coffee developed rapidly, reflecting the interplay between tradition and innovation. As new techniques emerged, coffee culture began to extend its influence beyond the confines of the coffee house. Cafes turned into centers of artistic expression, influencing literary movements and inspiring creative works that are celebrated even today. The evolution of coffee culture is a testament to how a simple beverage can become a catalyst for broad societal change. Over time, the spread of coffee in Europe has not only influenced consumer habits, but has also contributed to the socio-economic transformation of entire regions. Major European cities became focal points of coffee trade, and with this came a cultural shift that celebrated diversity, intellectual freedom, and progress. The story of coffee's introduction to Europe is intertwined with the broader narrative of globalization, in which the movement of goods, ideas, and people redefine the contours of culture and commerce. As we reflect on this transformative journey from the mystic mountains of Ethiopia to the bustling streets of Europe, it becomes clear that coffee was more than a drink. It was a symbol of modernity and the relentless human pursuit of knowledge, connection, and cultural enrichment. Its legacy continues to influence not only the way we consume beverages today, but also how we perceive the interconnectedness of global history. Through each cup of coffee, we can trace an intricate web of trade, migration, and innovation that spans continents and centuries. In conclusion, the migration of coffee from the East to Europe is a profound example of how a simple agricultural product can become a linchpin in the evolution of society. It illustrates the power of cultural exchange and the drive for intellectual progress that characterized the age of exploration and the Enlightenment. By understanding this historical journey, we gain insight into the forces that continue to shape our modern world, where every sip of coffee serves as a reminder of a vibrant past and a hopeful future.